breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded, I got the Niners on my back, you know. Breezy this, breezy that. Ain't nobody working like Breezy, and that's a fact.
See if they can hear you in the chat. Because I heard the... Say something?
Yeah, you can't hear me yet. Hold on.
No, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
That's weird. I didn't do anything.
Like when you did the intro, I couldn't hear you. But when you played the breezy this, breezy that, I heard that.
You can hear me now though?
I can hear you now though.
The computer does weird stuff when it wants.
Of course. That's how computers work.
That's weird because I didn't do anything for you to hear me now. Interesting.
And Miss Debbie said she couldn't hear the intro.
No, nobody couldn't hear me talk earlier. Oh, well, it is what it is. But we're here now. What's going on, bro?
I'm chilling. I'll tell you off camera. I can't give up too much of the sauce, but they got me running around crazy. But I found time to come be with my brother, be with my Mo's Snows and nitty gritty and 49er fam. So we here.
Let's do it. All right, look, Mose, today is it's a hump day, which is good. It's the middle of the week. More importantly, one more day until the schedule release. The 49ers have done a great job without leaking anything as of yet, yo. So it's going to be kind of weird because I'm trying to figure, like the NFL is officially leaking stuff. But do you think we'll get any leaks today? Any type of rumors today? I know you'll get some tomorrow. I know for a fact we'll get some tomorrow.
Oh, we're going to get a lot tomorrow. I mean, the whole schedule come out tomorrow, but I don't think we get anything today. I mean,
right, but the schedule don't come out tomorrow till 8 p.m. So throughout that day, you're going to be seeing leaks, and then we're going to be trying to say, are these for real or are these not?
I think the only one that we're going to get is we may get week 1. And then whenever we play the Eagles again, we might get that one.
Dang. So
That's the one I want to know.
So officially, you're feeling like we're not going to get the Eagles week 1.
I mean, I would love it if we did.
Right now, it's a rumor going out there saying that the 49ers are going to play the Eagles week 13, December 3rd, week 13.
Okay.
Which is, and here's the thing. What's crazy about that is this is just my brain not on drugs. All right, here we go. What's crazy about that is what if they're the reason why they're waiting on this particular game is because they're going to give time for Trey Lance to kind of like get right, and then they're really waiting for Brock to I really feel like the NFL wants to see Brock Purdy versus Jalen Hurts. What are your thoughts about that? Shout out to everybody out there. I apologize for the audio technical difficulties at the beginning of the show. Didn't have any issues prior, but whatever it is. So I just wanted to give everybody a round of applause for being here. Shout out to the Breezy Bunch members and things like that. So we'll see if we'll see. All right, Mose, what are your thoughts about that little specific theory?
Yeah, I think they want to see the two best teams in the NFC at 100%, right? They want to see strength on strength, iron sharpening iron. So that's what they were expecting. I feel like if we pull up the ratings, I feel like the ratings for the NFC Championship were dropped as far as what they were, previous years. And if you compare it to the AFC Championship game, so I think that's what the NFL wants to see. I think that's what fans want to see. So not having that early on in the season without knowing either who Trey Lance is going to be or become, or having a healthy Brock Purdy, I think it serves the NFL and the fans better if they do it that way.
All right. So and that's the breaking news that's going on right now. It's possible. It's reportedly scheduled. That does not mean that it's going to go down. But according to WTOV9, All right. It's reported that the 49ers will play the Eagles week 13, Sunday, December 3rd. And we'll see if that sticks around. I gotta do the morning shout out to everybody. I feel like I left people off the, and I want to make sure I give reverence to where reverence due. Eddie G's in the building. Shout out to my man Eddie G. What's going on, Playboy? Thank you for being here. He was first to the stream today, so it was really cool to have him in the chat or whatnot. All right, then we got Peachy's in the building. Jax Knox is in the building. All right, Christy Marie's in the building. Nia's in the building. The Breezy's bunch is in here. What's up, Jason? I see you out there. Miss Debbie's in the building as well. I'm sorry you guys couldn't hear at the beginning of the show. I'm just going through the very early start stages. Colin is in the building. I wonder if it's because I didn't have my mixer window open. Maybe that's probably what it was. It wasn't open. Marty Marr, 49er Empire is in the building. Shout out to all the members of the Breezy's bunch. Ronnie 33 is in the building. Just want to show you guys some morning love. Dion is in the building. What's going on out there? And we got the first contribution to the show. Peachy Brown is in the building. She says, good morning, Breezy. She didn't know Mose was going to be here, so good morning, Breezy and Mose. I'll go ahead and add that in there. And the faithful. Tomorrow is our schedule release day. We have been waiting on this for a long time. Hit that like button and spread the word about the Wayne Breezy channel. Let's have a great show. Hashtag BB Take 6. Mose, what are you most excited? Like, which team is circled on your schedule calendar that is the must-see game for the 49ers? Like, which game do you feel like I need to be there? I definitely got to make sure I'm tuning into, other than the NFC West games?
I mean, it's low-hanging fruit, but it's definitely Philly. What we experienced last year, bro, walking to that stadium, what we experienced, like you, me, like what we experienced sitting in that stadium and watching that game unfold. Like, to me, that is the must-see game. Like Debo said it, yeah, all right, they won and went to the Super Bowl, but we played with 10 people. See us with all 11. If you beat us with all 11, you beat us with all 11. But I want to see what that game looks like when we got all 11. And I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Trey. I don't care if it's Brock. See us with all 11 and let's see who the best team is. So for me, going back into that stadium, because it's in Philly again, that's the must-see game for me. And I'm going to be right in there with you and whoever else going with us, and we watching that game and seeing how it unfolds.
Yeah, I don't know why it's that game. I mean, there are some great matchups. We got to play Cincinnati. Like, there's some really good matchups that I'm super excited to see. But leaving the city of Philadelphia with that taste that we had in our mouths, kind of like having to walk that walk of shame, and it ain't even our mother freaking fault, right? It's not like we said, yo, Brock Purdy, go out there, get injured. No, like, it happened and we had to sit there and deal with it. I feel like for me, that's the game as well. I'm hoping it's in December, which gives me plenty of time to plan to get out to Philadelphia. But there are tons of games. I mean, I want to play the Steelers. I want to play some of these teams that I feel like is going to be dope. And I'm hoping that every team is like, full of health. I want to play Philly in that defense, right? I want to play against Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. I really want to take on them. I want to destroy the Cowboys, right? Like, there's so many games. I want us to beat the Giants. There's so many games I want to see. But that Philadelphia game, I'm with you, bro. It left such a bad taste in both of our mouths. I didn't really know, like, how to react. I don't even think I said goodbye to you. I think I just left after we finally got through where we had to get to. I got to my car and I just was out. Sorry, Nick. Sorry, Mose. Sorry, I forgot the other brother that was with us. I found the Ruby Tuesdays, and they were like, "You gonna come in here and eat with that on?" And I was like, "You goddamn right. I'm hungry." And then I went to my room, and then I got on the airplane. Like, that's how bad that game was, bro. Like, really bad. Let's go through some NFL stuff, Mose, because the NFL again. Now they've made some changes to the rules.
Bugging.
All right, and so actually I have that picture. I wanted to talk about these rule changes real quick. So let me go ahead and get that all set up. All right, so Adam Schefter reported among the changes to the schedule this season, the NFL will have a Black Friday game for the first time. We'll get to that. Games don't necessarily belong to networks anymore, Mose. I want to spend some time on that. All games are free agents. What the freak? Teams can be on Thursday Night Football twice. We heard about that rumor at the owners' meetings. Sounds like it's coming to fruition. Here we go. Don't forget to participate in the poll question. Not all teams are guaranteed to have a prime time spot. All right, Mose. Let's start with the first one. NFL will have its first Black Friday game. That's going to be the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, and it's going to be the Dolphins, my man Tua. Let's talk about it. The first Black Friday game, November 24th. I believe that's the date that they have scheduled for that. So it's the day after Thanksgiving. It's literally on Black Friday. Go figure.
Yep. I mean, yeah, that for me as a football fan, that's exciting. So I get football on Thursday, all day Thanksgiving. So I'm with family. I'm enjoying them, enjoying some good food, and get to watch a sport that I love. So we get 3 games on that day. And then the following day, Black Friday, we get a game as well. So that's amazing that we continue to have football. I'm not sure if we'll have Saturday games that weekend, but like we could potentially, if there are Saturday games, we got NFL football 5 days in a row. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday night. So like that's going to be absolutely amazing just to have that much NFL football on consecutive days. So I'm excited for it.
Same here. I wonder, are we going to get the 3 games on Thursday? Like the Thursday night football game plus the 2, the Lions, the Cowboys games, and we get the Thursday night and then a Friday game?
The morning game, the mid-afternoon game, and then the Thursday night game, and then a Friday game.
I wonder if the 49ers are going to play on Thursday night. Is that going to be our Thursday night? I'm just trying to figure out.
Thanksgiving. Who we play Thursday night on Thanksgiving?
The Ravens. Remember playing the Ravens before Yeah. Guys, circle that game.
That made a lot of sense because it was hardball versus hardball. You think
Yes.
Thanksgiving, you think family.
Yes.
There isn't another Shanahan in the league, but maybe it could be Shanahan versus somebody in his tree. So, we talked about the Ravens, but it could be a divisional game, us versus the Rams.
It could be the
Kyle
divisional
Shanahan
game.
versus McVay, on Thanksgiving. So, and then any other one of them coaches, I would love to see. I think Thanksgiving night, 49ers Bengals. You talked about that matchup. I think
that's crazy.
On Thanksgiving,
crazy to believe. I kind of have that. I think as our last game of the year. I don't know why. Like it's just because
the Bengals.
Yeah, because the
way it's gonna be a divisional game.
Nah, because of that extra game. I don't know if you noticed, but because of that extra game, it's no longer a divisional game. It's usually a game outside of the division. So I'm saying to myself, what will make people watch football week 18? Right? You put the Niners against the Bengals. Both teams are probably going to be leading their divisions, and people are going to have to watch it. The Niners are going to have to probably play everybody. They're going to be playing for that number 1 spot. The Bengals are probably going to have to play everybody. They're going to be playing for that number 1 spot. So that's the only reason why I kind of picked the Bengals. I looked at the teams, and I was like, what other team would be that? We no longer play a divisional game at the end of the year anymore because of that extra silly game. That extra game. Think about last season.
Unless they revamp it and make it that way. But I agree with you. I think that extra game, that week 18 game, it shouldn't be a divisional game because I don't want to see us versus the Cardinals because they
which it was last year.
And they 3-13 and they don't got nothing to play for. Like I don't want to see that. So yeah, that would be a solid matchup.
I that's kind of like, which, like I said, it'll have me tuned in because I guarantee you, like the way that everything is shaken up, you have to play all 18 games. Like I think the Eagles last year were the only team that had like really super clinched, and they could have kind of like just allow things to kind of like, they could rest players that last game. They had won so many games throughout the regular season. That last game really didn't make a difference. Even though, didn't they play the Giants last year, the last game? It was something to where one team had to win to get in, blah 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 blah, and I don't know. The Eagles were already clinched, and we were hoping that the Eagles would lose. And I don't think the Giants played their players, and we were
I think that was it because the Giants were already in.
right.
They didn't have anything to gain by playing that game hard. They wanted to save their players for the playoffs. So we were banking on the Giants to win because if the Giants beat the Eagles and we won our last game, which we did, we would have had the number 1 seed and Philly would have been coming to Santa Clara.
Let's talk about that next point. Games don't necessarily belong to networks anymore. All games are free agents. So I'm trying to understand this. So that means the NFC is not exclusive to Fox and the AAFC is not exclusive to CBS? Is that what we're saying?
Correct. Now, I was going to say this at the end, but I think this is the perfect point to bring this up at. All games are free agents. What do free agents go out and get? Money. So this is a money play. All 4 of these are really a money play by the NFL to drive revenue, right? But saying games don't necessarily belong to networks anymore, all games are free agents, that means Fox, ABC, they can bid on which games they want to have on their network.
Wow.
So if the Ravens versus the Bengals in week 14 is a big game because both of them have a tied record, they're playing for the tiebreaker and the lead in the division, yeah, that's an AFC game that would normally be on CBS. But if Fox wants that game because they know that they're going to get the ratings because of the matchup, Fox can bid in the NFL and say, look, we'll pay y'all this much amount of money to air this game. And if CBS doesn't either match or beat that bid, then a normally CBS televised game is going to be on Fox. And it's going to be called by Troy Aikman and Joe Buck or whoever that primary team is on that network for that particular game. So, I mean, this is definitely a big money play by the NFL.
Straight up business move. Let's talk about teams can be on Thursday night football twice. And they want you to turn your mic up, Mo. So if you can go to the settings on what you call it and just turn it up. I was gonna go ahead and private chat that to you. But let's talk about this. And I'm curious to know, like, when I look at the 49ers and I see who they're scheduled to play, like, can they possibly, and it says team, so it can't be every team that's going to get two Thursday night football games. So I'm wondering how that's going to pan out, and I'm curious to know from you, Mose, how do you think that might be set up in the 49ers, brass? Like, if they're the team that gets to, let's say the Niners are one of the teams that get the 2 Thursday night football games. And the reason why I feel like it could be the Niners is because the first person that made mention of it when it was brought up was George Kittle. He didn't like it, and they're probably going to punish us with this, if this is a punishment. So what do you think, Mose? Who do you think those two teams are? How would they schedule that for the 49ers?
First of all, check. How's my mic sound now? Am I too loud?
Nah, you're not. It sounds the same to me. It's pretty much the same. I got talking your mic again?
Check. Mic check.
Okay. I think I know what's wrong. Keep talking. You go ahead and talk, and I'll go ahead and try to fix it.
Yes, J Dog is saying they can't hear me, but now Jason has given me the thumbs up. I just need to know if y'all can hear me. We can continue to work on it. It's a little echoey. See, last time I had my AirPods in, and y'all said the AirPods was fuzzy. Now I turned the AirPods off.
Ah. They say they can hear you good though, so.
I am the IT guy, Justin. Don't do that.
So that's a lot. That's a lot better right there.
This right here, better.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Eric saying it's still low for me. Well, turn your volume up. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the ones that I don't like. Teams can be on Thursday night football twice. I think this is also a money play. Obviously, they want to continue the joint venture that they have with Amazon Prime. And part of Amazon Prime being able to continue to sell subscriptions is them being able to say, okay, the Thursday night game that you're getting is going to be a really, really good game. There were a few Thursday night games last year that we were like, we're not tuning into this. Like, these are two teams that are 2-10 and 1-6. Like, why are we watching these games, right? So I think the NFL is trying to find a way to continue to make those games exciting. Now, obviously, you can't have all of the top teams always playing on Thursday night. You can't have the Chiefs twice, the Bengals twice, the 49ers twice, the Eagles twice. Like, logistically, you can't do that. But if there are a few teams, maybe two or three teams that you can kind of throw them on the Thursday night schedule and kind of spread it out, do one at the beginning of the season, one in the middle, maybe one at the end. That may be beneficial. I don't think teams will play more than two Thursday night games if they're on the Thursday night schedule more than once. But again, this is another money play just to make sure that the competition that's being broadcast on nationally televised games it drives people to tune in.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, everything that the NFL is about that bread. It's the number one watch televised entertainment sport in the world. It's been figuring out ways to how to stay up on top, and this is a way they're changing things up just a little bit. So guys, those are the new league changes to the schedule for 2023. We'll see if they're a little bit different going into 2024. But this is you guys are funny out there in the chat. Let's talk about hilarious. Let's talk about some more NFL stuff that's going down, Mose, because we got our first Black Friday game, Dolphins versus Jets. All right, here's the Christmas Day game and the New Year's Eve Day game. Last year we played on New Year's Eve. This year it's going to be another AFC West team. It's going to be the Bengals and the Chiefs. But let's start with the Christmas Day game. That's December 25th. I think there's going to be one football game on that day. For those that don't know, Christmas usually is a basketball day. It usually is a basketball day. So we're going to see how this is going to pan out. Got Giants versus Eagles. Let's talk about that first. And then let's go ahead and get into that Bengals and Chiefs matchup on New Year's Eve.
I think the Christmas Day game is a really, really solid game. The Giants are a team that is trending in the right direction. They like their quarterback. They added a good receiver. They're bringing Saquon back. They're adding pieces on that offensive line. So they're doing a lot of really, really good things on that side. And they played the Eagles tough last year. So I think that's a good Christmas Day game. It's a divisional game. So people are going to tune in for that. We know the whole East Coast is going to be tuning in. Philly, Jersey, New York. We have Eagles and Giants fans all over the place. So that's the one time a year we get to see other fan bases really, really go at it. And then as far as New Year's Eve, we always know Chiefs, Bengals, they give us really, really good games. I think for the next 10 years, Patrick Mahomes versus Joe Burrow, as long as the organization keep pieces around both of those players, they're going to be fantastic football games. So, bringing in 2024 with that Bengals Chiefs game, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I like the Christmas Day game. I mean, you get an NFC matchup, that's NFC East matchup. That's going to be like, hopefully, Clash of the Titans, right? I mean, these are supposed to be two teams that are going to be dominant. The Giants finished really well last year. The Eagles were first in the NFC. They started off with a crazy win streak. I think they won like 14 games straight before they lost the game. It was crazy. They got some new changes. I don't know. Did you get a chance to hear Shady McCoy talk about, like, they asked, he was on the show and they asked about who he felt like was going to be the competition in the NFC. And when Acho mentioned the 49ers, he just brushed us off. Him and Molly, they just feel like the Niners aren't going to be good because we don't have a quarterback. And I want to know, like, even if you didn't get a chance to hear that, I'm paraphrasing everything, but that's essentially what it was. What are your thoughts on that? Like, if the Eagles are the number one team in the NFC, arguably, who would be that number two team? Who got better in the offseason?
There are a lot of teams that got better, but there's no team that got better than the 49ers. I mean, that's it. It just is what it is. Dallas, okay, they added an aging Stephon Gilmore and a Brandon Cooks who, despite all of his athletic ability and his speed, he always seems to bounce around from team to team. He hasn't been able to stay with one team and really solidify himself as the franchise cornerstone at wide receiver. Um, I the Bears got better around Justin Fields, but will Justin Fields take that next leap? Um, the Giants got marginally better. They added some offensive line, but are the Giants better than the 49ers? No. I don't think the Rams got better. They lost Jalen Ramsey. They lost a bunch of other pieces. Um, I don't think they got better. Maybe the Seahawks got better, but I don't think they
That was
got
the
better
team that
than
they mentioned.
us.
That was the team that they stay stuck on. Like, and so I think Acho was kind of like talk about the Seahawks. Shady was kind of like, man, bump the Seahawks, but he kept saying something about Pete Carroll. And he also mentioned the Niners. He was like, yo, like that's the team. And so here comes Molly with her. They don't have a quarterback. And so until they get a quarterback, and I'm like, what do you mean we don't have a quarterback? You just don't know who the quarterback is. We know we got quarterbacks. And I tell you what, God forbid anything slightly happens to Jalen Hurts, the Eagles will be a dumpster fire. Like they won't be able to sustain a win. We were able to win games with a
With
third.
three different quarterbacks.
I just want to put that out there so that should tell you how superior the team is, right? They were able to win with three different guys, and those two of those guys are coming back, and they just added in another guy. So you can say we don't have a starting quarterback all you want, but this team is stacked. For the first time, I thought Acho was kind of like bigging up the Niners, like for the first time. I do want to make a correction. I see my man out there says, didn't we play on New Year's Day? We did because it was a Sunday. I'd just be all over the place. So this is a New Year's Eve game. I don't even know when Christmas and New Year's fall in 2023. I don't even know the date. It should be a Monday. It's weird, right?
Hold on.
Think they're Mondays. Since New Year's was Sundays last year, I don't know. I'm just assuming. So that means that's Monday night.
You're absolutely right. So Christmas is on Monday.
So these are Monday night
And
football games.
and then no, but the New Year's game.
Oh no, that's
on
New Year's Eve.
The New
That's a
Year's Eve
Sunday.
game is on Sunday.
There
Yeah.
you go.
So that's
What's
why
going on,
it's a New
Cinnamon
Year's
Kiss?
Eve game and not a New Year's game. What's
There
up,
you go.
sis?
I'm excited to watch that New Year's Eve on Sunday. That's probably going to be Sunday Night Football now. So now we'll figure out, since it's going to be Bengals and Chiefs, it's probably going to get the primetime slot. So that's your primetime
sure.
slot for
Yep.
Sunday night. And so, guys, if you notice, we're filling out these primetime slots because the question in the poll was how many primetime slots will the 49ers be rewarded this year? And I wonder, again, if the lack of having the starting quarterback, if the lack of Brock Purdy not being labeled as your starting quarterback, does that hurt the 49ers' chances of getting some of these primetime games?
1,000%. Because people saying that we don't have a chance, that
Right.
we're not the second best team. When the proof is in the pudding. We don't, and don't take this the wrong way, people. But let's keep it a buck. We don't need a Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson on this team. We just need a quarterback who is serviceable, can move the ball up and down the field, can run Kyle's offense and not turn the ball over. That's all this team needs.
That's it.
And we won as many games as we did and made it to an NFC championship game with that. So imagine if Trey Lance can take the leap. Yes, we haven't seen it. We know. And is that making a big leap? To us, it may be a big leap, but it may not be to him because he's been working on his game. This will be his third year in this system. So it may not be a huge leap for him. It may not be a huge leap for Kyle because he knows what he's capable of. He just needs to be able to be healthy, get the reps, and kind of build that momentum. But imagine if Trey is that for us. and he ascends to that. I'm not even going to say top 5, top 10. Just give us middle of the road. If Trey can be the 15th best quarterback in the NFL, anywhere between that 10 to 15, with this team, bro, don't miss me with that. So I think national media is looking at the fact that Brock Purdy is hurt. They don't have any data on Trey Lance. So, of course, that is going to hurt us being in a primetime spot. But last year should be your indication. How this team plays, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. We got the defense that shows up, and we're top 5, top 3 in the best collection of playmakers in the NFL when you talk about Kittle, Debo, CMC, Ayuk. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, man. It's from a national media perspective, we just don't have the guy. From a 49ers perspective, we have several guys, and we're just waiting to see which one steps up to do what we know that they can do, what we believe, or we have the faith that we know that they can do. I'll put it even like this. I didn't think Daniel Jones was a top 15 quarterback last year. What are your thoughts really quickly before I make my point? Was Daniel Jones a top 15 quarterback? I don't know if he was top 15, maybe 16, maybe 17, but I don't know if he was top 15.
Yeah, I'd give him somewhere in that 16 to 20 range. But you saw that.
But
That
that's where I'm
16 to
going with the
20
point.
range.
That's
That 16 to 20 range could get you into the playoffs.
That's
when
my
you
point.
have the pieces, when you have the pieces around you,
I'm trying.
that 16 to 20 can get you into the playoffs. If you have a good game plan and the matchups are in your favor, you can even win a game in the playoffs like they did against Minnesota. Then they came up against Philly again, and the juggernaut that Philly is took them out of here. And that's where you see the deficiencies with a 16 to 20 quarterback. Now, a lot of the national pundits will say the same thing. Well, you saw those same deficiencies with Brock Purdy playing up against that Eagles defense because he didn't get the ball off in time on that play, and that's what kind of got him hurt. He didn't step up in the pocket. Whatever deficiency you want to say or blame you want to put on Brock Purdy for that play, you can say the same thing. But our team is built and constructed better than the Giants. So with that same or better quarterback play, we made it all the way to the NFC Championship. And had it not been for that injury, we might have made it to the Super Bowl. So again, the way our team is constructed, the pieces that we've added, I know we've lost some pieces, but the pieces that we've added and brought in, how can you not think we got better as a team than any of these other teams and are still at the upper echelon of the NFC and can really make noise again this year? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but again, coming from their perspective, which doesn't make sense, they just don't see the guy. And so, like, I think it would be more concrete if they knew it was Brock Purdy, but they know that they don't know what Trey Lance is going to be. They don't care. They don't have to have faith. Their job is to just report whatever they know, right? Or whatever they think they know. I did want to give a quick shout out to 808 Niner Faithful who corrected me on the game. It was a New Year's Day game. I remember Peachy and I were there. So thank you for that correction. I appreciate you, bro. I just wanted to show you some love. And Mose, you were hitting the nail on the head. The reason why I brought that up for a reason, bro. And I brought that up because it was like the Giants, who to me, their team is not nearly as constructed as a better team than the 49ers. I feel like they have some great pieces, right? They have a great ass running back. We have that, right? Then I didn't think their wide receiving game was that great. I didn't think their offensive line was that great. Matter of fact, we took from their offensive line, right? And so like all I'm saying is the Niners are a better constructed team. Now, the only thing I would give my man D, he'll have the experience over Trey Lance. Daniel Jones just has experience over Trey Lance, and he has the ability to where he just knows he's gonna take off and run if the read isn't there, right? He just has that. That's his gift. That's something that you know he's gonna do. And with Trey Lance, if he's the guy that's going to be starting, which I believe he's going to be starting this season. Somebody asked me yesterday, which quarterback do you think is going to take us into the Super Bowl? I said the same quarterback that starts the season. I left it at that because that's how I feel. And you already know who I feel like is going to be the quarterback that's going to start the season. And so when you get Trey Lance in there, whatever growing pains that the team is going to go through is not just going to be all on Trey Lance. Please don't put all that weight on him. The offensive line has to gel. It's a new defensive system. They got to gel. It's a bunch of still new pieces. The coaches got to find cohesiveness, right? There's a bunch of stuff that has to work in favor. So it may be a slow start again. But at the end of the day, it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. And I think the 49ers will figure out a way to finish on top like they did. Win the NFC West, win the division, you're in the playoffs, and everything else after that is bonus for the 49ers. And so some bad news, Mose. Well, disappointing news. I wouldn't say it's bad news. I don't think anything is bad. But some disappointing news. They released the international schedule. And the 49ers aren't on the international schedule. So here's the international schedule. Okay. You got the Falcons and the Jags. The Jags get to play in England 2 times back to back.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna be in England for at least a month.
Wow.
Because they'll probably fly out there the week before, or maybe not a month, maybe at least 3 weeks. Depending on if they have a bye after that London game, which I expect they should. I don't foresee them having to be in London for 3 weeks and then having to fly back after kind of getting. They're probably going to be, their bodies will be adjusted to, the being overseas and that new time zone, and then have to fly back and then play a game on this. So I'm hoping they get a bye week after those 2 straight London games. But I think that's something with their owner, Shad Khan, and some of the connections that he has overseas. He's been a big proponent of them playing overseas. There was even talk a couple years ago about him moving the team from Jacksonville to London, and
really
that being like their home, field and whatever. But I don't know what the NFL feels about having a consistent international team. That teams are always going to have to fly out to London to play, but he loves it out there, and they made sure he got his wish of having 2 games in the UK.
So you got 3 games in the UK, 2 games in Germany, 0 games in Mexico. I believe the 49ers will be the only team, 49ers and Cardinals will be that Mexico City game. So however many years it takes for that to kind of like relap, that's going to always be that game. I think just like, you get the Jaguars get to go to England every year, and then you're going to get the Patriots now in Germany every year. Like these are just some of the things that are going to happen. You got the Ravens versus Titans. That's going to be October 15th. That's also in the UK. Dolphins, Chiefs. That's going to be in Germany. And then you got Colts and Patriots in Germany in November. So you got 3 Octobers, 2 November games. And then you get those Black Friday games, the Christmas Day games, the New Year's Eve games. These are all prime time. I guess you consider these prime time games. Do you consider the games in Jersey prime time? They come on at a totally different time. They come on like 9:30 in the morning. Are those prime time games?
I don't consider them prime time for us. No.
Okay. It just was curious how people, right? Because prime time is that specific slot, but for us, it's dumb early in the morning, right?
Right.
Right. We'll see. But listen, man, that some things that are going down. That's the NFL, man, and we just wanted to kind of like give you a brief oversight of what's going on, what's been released. The 49ers. We talked about that. We'll get back to that. That one game that's kind of been leaked and kind of like set in stone. And so we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more. And let's go through our schedule, Mose, because let's figure out week 1. I thought week 1 would be Eagles. I thought they would let the Niners and the Eagles start out the season, Mose. And unfortunately, they said no. They decided not to go that route. Who are the 49ers going to play week 1? Let's get your predictions.
Did you do that prediction game?
I did for Ticketmaster. My junk all jacked up. I got week 1 wrong, so I expect to have week 2, week 3, week 4, all the way up to week 18.
You put Philly?
Wrong. Yeah, I did.
So when I did that, I have us week 1 on the road at the Commanders.
That's so early to play that game.
I know.
Usually they play the Commanders a little later in the season. And why can't we ever start week 1 at home? The hell?
Because I was just figuring I
I
probably
like it
should have
though.
did something a little different because that's the East Coast. We got 5 East Coast games,
5 East Coast games. This is why we're not going to Germany, guys. I
and I
mean,
and
going
I
to
and
Europe.
I and I feel like I don't know. I think one of them they're going to give us back to back because they usually do that every year.
I feel like the back-to-backs, without looking at that thing, should be Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Those should be your back-to-backs on the road.
I had both of the PA teams. I
See,
had
that's so far
Philly. Then
away.
I had Philly then Pittsburgh.
I They're just so far away in distance, right? It's like what's the drive from Pittsburgh to Philly? The commute. Yeah, that's a long. I know that's not long, but that's long. I mean, it's still on the East Coast. To me, I just felt like it would be those two AFC. We've done it. I feel like we've done it before. So if the 49ers do travel, they'll probably come stay in West Virginia. That's why I think we start off at home. Possibly start off at home week 1. Hit the East Coast for 2 weeks. Come back home week 4. Right? Play a couple of games at home. And then we hit the road again. The cool thing is we'll be playing in Jacksonville in Florida, so this will be my first time getting down to Florida to watch some football. I've never watched football in Florida. I'm excited to go to Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
That's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope. Week 1, if we're at home, if we're on the road, you picked who'd you pick?
Washington Commanders,
If we're at home, who are you picking?
Arizona Cardinals, easy layup week 1.
You think now, according to the reports, the 49ers have the 15th hardest schedule of
That's what I'm saying.
difficulty.
So we middle of the pack because I mean we got the Seahawks twice. We know they're a good team. We got Philly. Jacksonville was a playoff team. We got the Ravens. We know they're a good team. Both the Vikings and the Giants were playoff teams. Cowboys a playoff team. So I mean, it makes sense. But a lot of these teams, I'm not scared about. So if we start at home, I feel like they'll give us Arizona week 1.
Start off with a division game, which means it'll be a later game. Usually that week 1, could it be a primetime game? Could it be a Monday night doubleheader game?
Because we don't know who the quarterback is. I don't think they're going to do that. We already talked about us
Right, and Kyler
them
Murray's
limiting
and Kyler Murray's not starting the season, right? He's still injured. He's still on the IR.
because he tore his was an ACL
He
tear,
tore
right?
an ACL, yeah.
So yeah, he might not start the season. So yeah, I don't. If they give us Cardinals week 1, it'll be regular 4:15 East Coast game.
How
Nothing
about
special.
this? What if we get the primetime Monday night game? We don't play the Vikings this year, do we? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
What if that's that 10-15 game? I'm taking you back to the time where, remember we had Carlos Hyde? He went to work in that game, yo. I think
He got busy.
that was the only game he got busy in too.
Yeah, facts.
I'm just
Facts.
curious to see if the NFL tries to shake, Kirk Cousins coming to California week 1. Oh my! I don't want that game week 1. I don't want to deal with them goddamn wide receivers week 1.
Listen. Quarterback controversy.
Quarterback controversy. You see the stories
If
popping?
if we don't know what Trey Lance is and we don't know if Brock Purdy's coming back, do the
Could
40
that be
because
a trade mid-season?
we always make a mid-season trade, right? What
I
if
hate
the
it.
mid-season trade is with the Vikings and we go snag Kirk Cousins?
This is so funny.
Send them Trey Lance and a late round pick and maybe a player or two. Bring in Kirk Cousins to finish out the season with the squad. Listen, they
Guys,
could put that on as week 1, and that
come
would
back
be, that
to
would be
it.
the game.
Yup.
That would be the game that we lose. Kirk Cousins throw for 300 plus yards, 4 more touchdowns, looking like the GOAT.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, possibility, week 1, doubleheader, Monday Night Football, 49ers, Vikings. I don't care about that damn thing I did with them. I'm doing my own shit now. Week 1, I'm telling you, I just feel like that'll be a dope game. And Kenny, if we could bring back them all black unis for that game, that would be so dope, yo. They wear them in practice, but they won't wear them. Like they won't do them in regular season. But that game, the black jerseys with the red writing, and Carlos Hyde had a day in that game. I'm just saying, I kind of would like that. Moses going, if Moses saying if we're on the road, it's going to be the Commanders. Let's try to build the story around that one too, because they're not an easy team.
Nah, they kind of have quarterback issues as well. They're going with the young quarterback Sam Howell. We kind of struggled against them a little bit last year, just because of what they offer on the offensive side of the ball with all those receivers. I guess one of the talking points is Chase Young. How is he going to fare going up against his former teammate and
Right.
another number 2 overall pick in Nick Bosa? Are the 49ers going to try to make a play to bring him, to the Bay, because we have the best defensive line coach in the league who seems to get the best out of anybody who comes into this scheme? Put him next to his former teammate in Nick Bosa and let them relive their Ohio State years. Kyle Shanahan going up against his former organization, who they kind of blame him and his father for the whole RG3 Kirk Cousins debacle and drafting 2 quarterbacks, and some of that kind of bled into the San Francisco 49ers organization. Did Kyle really want Trey Lance? Was that a John Lynch pick? Was that an Adam Peters pick? Was him doubling back and getting Brock Purdy the next year kind of him reclaiming what he wanted from the quarterback position? So, there's a few storylines that you could pull up with that one.
Look, man, great one 765 is with you. He wants the Cardinals week 1. I just don't feel like the NFL is that generous.
Yeah, they want to start off with a bang.
They got to. They
And if
want.
and if Kyler's not playing, that's not a bang of a game to start the NFL season off with. That we probably gonna win that game
Let
35-3, and
let's pull up. Don't the Giants usually play? It would be. What about the Giants coming out west week 1? I feel like the Niners are going to be home week 1. I'm just trying to figure out, would it be an NFC East game, and then you don't see NFC East for a little period of time? Because I think we'll travel. I can see us traveling, and I wouldn't mind week 2 and week 3 being these 2 teams. I know I said Thursday night football for the Niners. I'm trying to figure out, because you guys got to remember, we're probably going to get 4 to 5 primetime games. 4 to 5, even with Trey Lance. Like there was a point in the chat that said, "Listen, we have 5 primetime games, and Trey Lance was our starting quarterback." So I'm expecting the Niners to get 5 primetime games. Here's the thing, guys. You guys forgot that they changed the rules of the NFL this year, so the networks get to bid on the teams. The teams don't have the say. It's the networks. Oh, I want them 2 teams on that night. Yep, give me those 2 teams. Yep, I want those. It's the network. It's coming down to the networks,
right.
which is crazy interesting. So if you missed the beginning of the show, go back and check it out. We talked about that. It comes down to the networks having a bid war, which is what the NFL wants. They're free. Remember, every team is a free agent. Not every
And
team has to play. So remember, they usually schedule every team to play on Thursday night. Not anymore.
nope. And then listen, depending on how Trey starts the season, you could look at 49ers Ravens, that being a game that the networks bid on. 2 really, really good teams, 2 really, really good defenses. We already know 49ers Eagles, somebody's bidding on that. If not one, both of the Seahawks games, they're bidding on, because basically everything the Seahawks did this offseason was to try and beat us. The Bengals, networks are going to bid on. And even the Cowboys, depending on how they play and how they start their season. If the Cowboys go on another run where they're, maybe second or even first in the East, and they're at, 8-2, 9-3, something like that, that could be another game that's bid on by the networks for a primetime slot. So yeah, I agree with you. I see at least 4 or 5 primetime slots because we know our team is going to be a winning team. We're not going to start the season 1-3 or 0-4. And I think how we start and how we build momentum. Yeah, I mean it's definitely some good games that can be bid on for prime time.
It's gonna be interesting to see how things kind of like pan themselves out for the 49ers. I think the Niners, um, it doesn't matter when they play, who they play, or where they're playing. They just got to make sure that they come out with that crazy ass win mentality and just take care of business, And so, me personally, I would have loved to play the Eagles first. Unfortunately, that's just not what it pans out according to the reports that are out there. Shout out to my man Raj too, for putting it out there. It is what it is. Like so, week 13, you can see at the bottom of the screen. It's a Sunday. We'll be in Philly. We'll be there for sure. That's it. That's an easy one. Week 13, Philadelphia, PA. I'll make sure I don't book any weddings for the month of December. That I'll be there. We'll be there that weekend. But it's going to be interesting. Who the hell will the Niners start out against? I'm with you, Mose. I want it to be a team where we could just punch in the mouth. But then again, they gave us that last year, and guess what we did?
That it was it was also a freaking tsunami.
It was, Mose. That's why I'm hoping if we play it at home, we don't got to worry about the tsunami part.
Yeah, yeah. Thankfully, we don't have a road game in Chicago on our schedule this year. That
It's
was
good.
terrible, bro.
It's gonna be crazy. Marty Mark 49er Empire says we are starting the season with CMC and a healthy George Kittle and Debo Samuel.
And
And
Debo Samuel, who is in shape,
do you see
looks
this guy
really
working?
good.
All it took was that contract, man. All it took was that contract. Now, Luke the Don says, did that info come from the NFL Breezy? It came from a news network, WTOV News 59, local news network, and that's who reported that. So it's reportedly scheduled. We're not saying it's going to be this, but it's reportedly scheduled that this is going to be the game. Now, remember, there are going to be leaks. There are going to be fake leaks. There's going to be a bunch of people just trying to be right. So we technically won't know until the schedule gets released tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? We won't know for sure. But this is coming from a news station. Maybe they have an insider. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're just putting this out there to get some clicks and likes. I don't know. That's what this is. So no, to answer your question, Luke the Don, it did not come from the NFL. The NFL only released and relinquished those primetime games and those international games. And notice how they reported those primetime games and they didn't tell you what networks they were going to be with. Crazy. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a different type of a season. All right, let's get to a couple of questions, man. Mose, I've got a couple of Q&As. We got a super chat that I wanted to read from my man, Terra Dome. All right, so let's do the little super chat segment that we got going on here. Terra Dome says CBS Sports has Brock Purdy ranked 12th in quarterback power rankings, 4th amongst NFC quarterbacks. Respect to Jalen Hurts, but is Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins better than Brock you tonight?
I can't say that Brock is better than the two of those guys yet, just because they've done it at a high level and proven it. Now, it'll depend on how Dak Prescott plays this year. Last year, he was dealing with a little bit of injuries, and he led the league in interceptions. Um, his record doesn't show or prove to me that he's going to have that same type of season, but he could. He could be regressing and could be taking a step back. Kirk Cousins has, a team full of weapons that all he needs Justin Jefferson to do is get open, and now they added uh, the kid from Jordan Addison from USC to
Wide
be
receiver.
opposite him now. So they have an abundance of weapons. Kirk Cousins knows how to operate that offense efficiently. I think the only thing that's going to hold that Vikings team back is their defensive performance. Um, but yeah, as far as production and what they're able to do on the field, I can't put Dak Prescott above. I mean, I can't put Brock Purdy above Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins right now. Again, we've only seen what Brock can do in 6 games when teams didn't have a lot of film on him. We're going to have to see him, sustain that kind of performance, throughout a 17 game season, 18 game season, and then, figure out where to go from there.
Very well said. Very well said. We got another super chat contribution. We'll go ahead and get these in there. My man ATJ. Fam, your Niners are going to be top seed again. It's like I believe this. I do. It's going to be interesting. I will say that the team, we got to take care of Seattle. I really feel like the Cardinals and the Rams, they should be a cakewalk, but again, they're NFC West teams and they kind of go either way. I know we dominated last year. The only team in the NFC West that I really feel like is going to give us problems are the Seahawks. It's just because of who their coach is and kind of like how their style of football. As far as the NFC goes, though, I got Eagles in my power rankings. And Moj, we'll do an episode where we do our power rankings soon after the schedules come out. But I would have the Eagles number 1 and the Niners number 2. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, why you got the Niners 2? They beat us. That's why. It's a simple formula, math. But that's kind of like how I would go. Just going into the season, I would have the Eagles number 1. I know they lost some key pieces. They lost their safety. They got to figure out a way to replace that and things like that. But they did draft my man Sidney Brown out of Illinois. And so, look, I would have the Niners at number 2. Again, we still got to figure out how our quarterback situation is going to pan out. So, but I do think we'll be a top seed. We'll be either 1 or 2. I think we'll finish strong. What are your thoughts on that, Mose?
Yeah, I mean, we have to see what it's going to look like. But Philly, yeah, they lost some key pieces. But I mean, adding Jalen Carter, adding Nolan Smith, adding Sidney Brown, bringing in DeAndre Swift for that running back room. I mean, this freaking team, man, they're good, and I hate it because I hate Eagles fans, and I'm surrounded by them. I'm in Philly right now, and that's all I hear is, "Oh, Eagles going back to the Super Bowl." This, da da da. I hate hearing it every day. They're a really, really good team, and they like Breezy said, they beat us last year. We have to beat them pretty much. And whether we win or lose the regular season game, that doesn't matter. Come playoff time, if we see them again, we have to win that game and advance, whether that's to the next round of the playoffs or into the Super Bowl. So I got the Eagles 1. I got us a very, very close 2. And hopefully when we do see them again, everybody's healthy and we can see who's the big dog.
That's a good point. Good point. I did want to follow up with Terradome because he's asking the question: who would you take, Brock, Dak, or Cousins? From his earlier post, who would you take out of these 3 guys?
You like that? I'm taking you like that all day. I'm taking Kurt. I think Kurt is probably the most accurate of these 3. And I think if you put him in a situation with a more seasoned coach, especially when it comes to big time games, playoff games, I think he can win you football games. If it's only on him to throw the ball, if the running game is being stifled and you need him to throw the ball, I think Kirk has proven that, if he has the weapons, if he has the protection, I think he's proven that, he can get it done in some big moments. And I think other big moments, I think it's been more coaching than it has been him. So that's just my personal opinion. If you're of these 3, I'm taking Kirk Cousins.
I think I would go with Brock. I watched Brock win in the playoffs. I think that's all I kind of need. Like at the end of the day, Kirk can't. So Kurt will get you there, but Brock can get you there too. But if you need a guy that you know you can win with in the playoffs, it kind of it's Brock for me. Plus, I don't feel like I know we play that ceiling in the floor game and things like that. I don't feel like Brock has reached his max potential yet. I think you know what I think. You remember when we were growing up? This is how you know we old. You ever heard of something called the Cliff Notes? Cliff Notes. You ever heard of that? I know you did because you laughing. So I feel like Brock Purdy entering last season had the Cliff Notes version of the 49ers offense. And it worked. It was a test. He needed to pass it and he did it. He had a simplified version. Instead of reading the whole book, he was just like, yo, I'm gonna simplify and read it and just so I could pass it. And he passed it week in, week out. Brock Purdy gave you that. It's going to be a little bit different, but even when he comes back, even when he returns, depending on how things go, I don't think the job is going to just be handed right back to him, especially if the 49ers are winning. It's going to be interesting. But out of these three guys, I would go with Brock. Dak just isn't a great quarterback to me. Cousins is a consistent, I'm going to help you win games. But when I get to the big light games, I'm probably going to fold. And so he went to Michigan State. And so that was a shot at Michigan State. And so I'm going to go with the Iowa State. I'm going to go with Brock Purdy there in that particular situation. All right. Thank you. We got a couple of more contributions.
So then you agree with Terradome and Brock Purdy should be 2 on that list and not 4.
Yeah, because when you look at that, I don't care about what I think when you look at these lists that are made, they kind of are cumulative, right? They go over, they're over time and bump time. How about right now? And granted, going into the season, Brock Purdy's not going to give you anything because he just isn't cleared to play. But finishing the season, Brock Purdy should have been number 1 on that list. It should be Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and then Brock Purdy. But in the NFC, it should be Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, right? My voice is mad high pitched right now because I'm mad animated right now.
Hey, listen, what's one of Auntie Janet famous quotes and famous songs?
Auntie Janet Jackson?
Yeah.
Control?
Cause you talking about it's not about
Rhythm Nation. Hold on, let me get it.
What you done?
Or what have you done for me lately? I know. Ooh, yeah. I'm so slow.
And I mean,
whatever.
Listen, if we're talking about right now and what Brock Purdy just did, I mean, coming in as the last pick in the draft, number 200 and whatever it was, not really being someone who they thought was going to make the roster. Then you make the roster, and then having to come in as a third string quarterback to win, 6 straight regular season games, and then get your team all the way to the NFC Championship game. I mean, you and Terradome, you definitely have a point. I mean, he should be looked at as the top, and then that brings the argument. I understand he's not healthy right now, but is there even a chance for Trey Lance to even snatch the reins back from somebody who we're saying is the second best quarterback in the NFC?
Absolutely. That's football.
Okay.
Because the thing about football is, here's the thing. You play football, don't get hurt. It's that simple. Because the moment you slip up and you get an injury, whether it's your fault, whether it's not your fault, right? The next person up is ready to come and take that spot. That's the one thing I love about anything in life. You can apply that to anything in life. Your job that you're working on currently right now, content creating, music. People be like, yo, why you always like that you gig? Because the moment I start slipping up, the moment I get lazy, the moment I get sick, somebody trying to come in and take it. And if they like them, I might not be gigging like I was gigging before. So I got to make sure I'm on my toes. I'm in the gym. I'm working out. My voice is good. But it comes down to that. I'm not saying there won't be other opportunities out there, bro. But for Trey Lance, this opportunity right now, he better not get hurt because He has the opportunity with a good quarterback on the 49ers that's looking to only increase, only rise, right? With this organization, Trey Lance has every opportunity to do it. And I know it sucks to say it's that, but listen, and Trey said it. Look, Brock got hurt. Now this is my second chance of redemption. I mean, he got hurt too. If let me ask you this, Mose, if Trey didn't get hurt, we know who Brock Purdy is?
Probably not.
There it is. So it's just part of the game, yo. But the thing is, don't get hurt. And I know that's hard to do. I get it because it's football. 100% injury prone, like 100%. The way they start the season is not the way their bodies are finishing the season. You heard George Kittle come out and say it's like when you play football, it's like going through a bunch of mini car accidents. Like, right? Like that's the impact that it has on your body and stuff like that. What's going on, West Coast Kings? And so look, for Trey Lance, he has this opportunity, and it's fortunate that it happened the way it did. He better not let Sam Darnold come out here and beat him. He better show up and show out. And maybe Mose. That's the competition that breeds champions, right? You bring in guys that are coming to take your spot. Next thing you know, you playing better. You sounding better. You talking better. You walking better. You looking better. It just, that's what it does. And maybe Kyle Shanahan just said, bump it, yo. We've made things too easy for players here. Let's bump it up a notch. Because at the end of the day, we still don't got no goddamn trophy. I don't know.
No, you hit it right on the head, bro. That's exactly it.
It's just, he's going to get the opportunity. Look, let's switch it up a little bit. More Super Chat contributions. Ms. Debbie says, is this Roger Goodell's last season as the NFL commissioner? Mose Wayne, who would you like to see replace him? His contract expires in 2024. So when the new league year hits, he will no longer be under contract. Do you think he'll return? Do you think the NFL, the owners, would extend him another set of 80 billion years? I have no idea who I want to replace him, so I can't even tell you. Shit, I'll do the job, but I have no idea who I want to see be commissioner.
I don't know, because sometimes I don't know how the ownership feels about Roger Goodell in
It's
some
weird.
aspects. It is. It's not a relationship where it's we hate the guy and we can't stand him, or we love him. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So it's kind of like a middle of the pack thing. I think it changes by the day. So I think they're going to have to see how this season plays out with the new rule changes, with the new TV changes, the Thursday night games, the all teams are free agents as far as the networks and them bidding on games and seeing how that, increases revenue and by how much. I think all of that is going to play a role into it. If he doesn't come back, whether they say, we want to, go another direction, or if he decides, I've done my time, I want to focus on my family, focus on my kids, my grandkids, whatever it may be. If there's one name who I think he's been, in the background and he's been doing some things that kind of maybe this is a career trajectory for him. I would love to see Troy Vincent get an opportunity to be the commissioner of the NFL. He's been doing a lot of good things for
NFL,
the
PA,
NFL,
right?
PA, and his role with them. So, I think, Troy Vincent is kind of setting himself up to where I think this is a career trajectory for him. So if he was able to get that shot, I think that would be awesome for the league, awesome for his career, awesome for, people of color in this space. We always talk about, the head coaching landscape and, things of that nature. And I think it would just be awesome all around. So if there's a name to replace him, I would throw Troy Vincent's name in that hat.
All right, guys, very good name out there, very good candidate. If that's something that he wants, I feel like maybe Goodell turns down the next offer. Maybe he's ready to move on to something different. Managing 32 teams in the NFL, dealing with 32 different personalities from these owners could be taxing. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what goes down. His contract does expire March of 2024. We got a couple more contributions, all right? Jax Knox.
32 billionaires.
Billionaires, yo.
Like 32 people that have billionaire in their profile. Like,
some of them are
that's tough.
buttholes, too. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
To go with them billions. Jack says, my prediction for this season is 18-0. 18-0. Good prediction. I'm not going to discredit it. It's her prediction. What are your thoughts on what would be your prediction just off the whim from Mose? I'll give you mine. I feel like we win 14 games.
Listen,
It got to a point last year where Jax Knox every Monday show gave a contribution and said we was going to win, and we won.
Jax got us winning the bye week, guys. So just relax. Right? So if you get through the bye week healthy, that's a motherfreaking win. Give me the ding ding.
That's a W. That's a ding ding. That's a W. So listen, I don't want to throw any jinx on her mojo. Because I mean, obviously quarterback aside, we got the team to do it. And depending on how this schedule shakes out, we may get favorable matchups and favorable weeks
at favorable times.
Things can at favorable times.
Exactly.
And it can all flow together and kind of beats us too. So I mean, I'm not going to throw no juice, no jinx on her mojo. If she said it and she gave the contribution, listen. Last season I know this is a new year, new season, but listen, sometimes that good mojo carry over. So
sure does.
Yeah, if she said it, I'm with it.
So technically you could go 17-0 because there's the bye week. Even though she said 18-0, like I said, the context is you get into that bye week and you get your health right. And that's a win for me. Imagine and let's play a guessing game. When do you think the 49ers bye week is going to be? Will they do us dirty and do us week 5, or will they do us week 13?
In that prediction game, I put week 13, but then that may be null and void if we play the Eagles. I listen. I don't care. Give us something at the midpoint or later. Don't give us week 4 or week 5, and then we got to go on this stretch of
crazy stretch, bro.
13 straight weeks again. Like, don't
flying across country.
Right.
I'm just telling you, listen.
That's why I hope I believe we'll get it either mid or late, because we got to come to the East Coast 5 times. And of those 5 trips, either 2 of those trips could be back to back, because we got Philly, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Washington, and Jacksonville. So like Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Philly, Washington, that's all in the same 6-hour radius. You know what I'm saying? So they gotta give us some of them in back-to-back weeks. So you give it to us mid-season or late season. Don't give it to us week 4, and then we still got to do all of these East Coast trips. If they do that, they trying to sabotage us.
Look, it could happen, man. Like, I don't expect the league to do the 49ers any favors, bro. Any favors. I just don't. I don't know what the 49ers owe the NFL or what type of stuff they have on the 49ers. I don't expect any favors. But listen, we got, like you said, we got Jacksonville. We got the Commanders, the Eagles, the Steelers, and those Browns. You know, something can shape up. And my apologies, because we play the Vikings on the road, so that can possibly be of that Monday night game. That's that extra game, like, because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can I do my math right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 games away, and then 2, 4, 6, 8 games at home this year. So with the extra away game is where it's going to come into some. So it could be that Jacksonville game could be the last game of the season. Now that I think about it, crazy.
Possibly.
which means that the 49ers would have to travel all the way back to the East Coast for one game and play in a game. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see how things shape up, how things pan out for the San Francisco 49ers. But we got, it's going to be really interesting. Tomorrow's going to be a crazy day. Listen, we got a couple of more minutes. This is an extra longer show. We got some contributions that are coming in. I just want to make sure I get through all of them. My nephew's back. He says, let's be honest, Brock and his story is must-see TV. Yeah. How much more do you think the Mr. Irrelevant story is still relevant? Because at this point, I think he made a name for himself in the NFL.
Yeah, but I mean, until he wins a championship, that underdog storyline, that underdog mentality,
Long shot,
is always going to follow him. So like, there was a certain point that that underdog story for Tom Brady went away. Like, he's no longer the underdog because now he's Tom Brady. He's won one. Oh, he's won two. Now we looked at there's no underdog story for Tom Brady. He's arguably the greatest quarterback to ever play football, right? So I think it's going to take him winning consistently, and more than likely when he wins his first chip, that underdog narrative will go away. But until then, he's going to have to keep playing, keep winning. But that it is must-see TV because he's always going to be Mr. Irrelevant until they can really start reversing that title and calling him Mr. Relevant because he's winning games. He's won an NFL MVP. He's won a passing title, offensive player of the year, one of those awards and a Super Bowl title. I think removes that narrative. But until then, he's always going to have that narrative because our society loves that underdog story.
The underdog. All right, we got one more super chat contribution that I see in here. The one and only Christy Marie. She says, great show, Breezy and Mose. Breezy, you still doing the R&B shows on Wednesdays with Raj? Yeah, so they're still scheduled. So what happens is my schedule fluctuates because I have to go out and make money. So I do shows at night, and lately Wednesdays nights have been open and I've been getting booked, and it's usually during the time Raj and I will go live. So instead of me jumping on for 5 minutes and then leave them hanging, it's just best that we schedule it when we can both sit down. Raj and I will talk today. We will try to pick a day because I do have to work tonight, and so we'll try to figure it out. So this will probably be the last show of the day for me because I got to get ready for a show tonight, and I got a bunch of shows this weekend. Got weddings and things like that, so I got to make sure my voice is right for these shows because I gotta sing. So Christy, yes, we still be doing them, but him and I are gonna kind of like get together and try to figure out maybe we pick a different day or we just do them when we put them out there for scheduled time. But thank you so much for the super chat contribution. Mose, we got a special shout out to Jashawn Page, who just gifted 5 memberships. Man, I didn't even know you can do that. Can I get one? I don't even know if I'm a member of the page, but Deshaun, thank you so much. We truly appreciate that. I'm not sure do you get to give them to the people? If so, that'll be excellent because I don't want to have no say in how that goes. But thank you, Deshaun. We truly appreciate your patronage over here on the Wayne Breezy channel. Thank you so much. Shout out to everybody that gave super chat contributions. There were a couple of things, Mose, I wanted to address that I starred before we get on up out of here, Mose. I hope you got about 2, 3 more, 4 more minutes, 5 more minutes, 6 more minutes, just a couple more minutes. All right. And we'll get to the poll question as well. That sounded blazing. It sounded like a keyboard or something. All right. 2 questions I wanted to talk about. Lake City. Shout out to our boy Lake City, man. Appreciate you out there for all the hard work you do for the faithful, as well as myself, Mose, and everybody else that you rock with, man. So Matt Barrows interviewed Adam Peters and stated that Dyer Brown and Braden Willis both got gold helmets, meaning the Niners believe they will have an impact immediately. Let's talk about these 2 drafted rookies. Rookie minicamp kicks off on Friday, baby! Let's go! I'm excited. Mose, let's talk about these guys. Impact year one, immediate impact.
Listen, I think, we talked about this during the entire draft process. We were looking for a safety, and not just any safety, right? We needed a safety that was versatile, that could come into this defense and kind of be a chameleon and do everything. We wanted somebody who could play. Somebody's trying to use the system to call somebody on Zoom or something and keep them. But um, basically, like, we wanted somebody to come in to be a chameleon, to try to figure out all the aspects of the defense, to play deep safety, to play in the box, to play nickel, to do all these different things. And Zaire Brown brings that to us. He brings ball skills. He brings somebody that's going to turn the ball over. He brings somebody that's going to be sideline to sideline. He brings somebody that's interchangeable with Talanoa Hufanga. And now we can move those guys and disguise what we want to do on defense and really, really make it hard for opposing quarterbacks to know what we're doing. So that's one aspect. Braden Willis, I mean, we talked about his versatility as well. Him lining up in the backfield, being an H-back, lining up out wide, lining up in the slot, lining up, tight to the line. So he can kind of do everything. He has a little bit of speed. He has run blocking capabilities. He's able to, run routes and catch passes. So I feel like they find a lot of versatility in both of these guys to be impact players right away. I think that speaks to also their football IQ, being able to understand football concepts. So whatever we throw at them, they'll be able to pick up right away and to translate that into production on the field. So like you said, I'm excited for rookie minicamp and seeing what these guys are able to start building upon for their rookie season.
I like both of the guys. Actually, there's one rookie that they drafted in the 5th round. Nobody's talking about much. I think he has a higher impact than both of these two gold player helmet guys. His name is Darrell Luter Jr. It's going to be interesting because there's going to be, when I tell you that the 49ers drafted some dogs, Mose, they drafted dogs. Like, they drafted dogs. And I like that Jair Brown had 10 interceptions last year. So did Darrell Luter Jr. Like, these guys are taking the ball away. That's the one thing that they were doing. They're going into a Steve Wilkes defensive back-minded type of a system. Guys are going to be blitzing. Guys are going to be utilized a little bit different. We haven't seen nickel blitzes pretty much since K'Wan Williams was here, a.k.a. the Shark. Will we get a different type of animal out there in Darrell Luter Jr.? How will Samuel Womack III progress? Are they going to move him back to outside? Is he going to be an inside guy? Look, rookie minicamp is about to be official. I can tell you that right now. Collie, I'm with you. This is my comp for Braden Willis, man. It's Jordan Reed, and it's because of his ability and his versatility to be able to line up anywhere, whether it's the H-back, whether it's in the slot, whether it's out wide. He has the size. He has the speed. He is a yak guy. So if you get the ball to him, and he can get open. It's one thing I like about Braden Willis. He can get open. And once he gets open, good luck. He doesn't have that breakaway speed, Most, to outrun 11 people on defense, but he'll take a 5-7 yard gain and turn it into 77. I don't know about you, but I'll take that. That's a 70-yard plus or net, however you want to look at it. For me, that's what I like about Braden Willis. So we're going to have some dogs, and we're going to find out first and foremost about these dogs at rookie mini camp. Poll question. We're going to end the show with this. Here we go. All right. How many primetime games will the 49ers partake in 2023? All right. Mose, if you had to pick a number 2, 3, 4, or 5, which number would you go with?
3.
I was going to go with 5. And the majority of the people out there, round of applause to everybody that participated. 37% said 4 prime time games. So if you take your 3, take my 5, you get 4, I think. Something like
That's
that.
the average.
All right. So there you go. Shout out to everybody that was here in the chat. We truly appreciate the live chat. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Listen, in the description of the show, is Moses' YouTube handle. If you're not already subscribed to his channel, please go to the description of the show. Click on the link. It's a linky link. All you got to do is clickety linky, and then boom, you'll be right on this page. Hit the subscribe button. If you're new to the Wayne Breezy channel, it's your first time watching, you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like. The likes are down right now. Get them likes up, all right? We love you. Mose, final thoughts and take us home, baby.
Listen, man.
Excited for this week. We got schedule release tomorrow. We got rookie minicamp starting Friday. Things are going to start moving in the 49ers world. So, stay tapped in with the Nitty Gritty Niners crew. Stay tapped in with our brother Wayne Breezy. For as busy as he is, for him being able to give you guys content as often as he does. Hardest working man in show business. That's not a title that, people throw around lightly. He is definitely that. So we love and appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you as always, and always stay faithful. Y'all know that.
We out, y'all.